Boy, I tell you what, we've had some little mixed showers going on this morning, a little mix of rain and snow here in Payson. Everything is all white up in the Pine Strawberry area, and we've got a good wrap up for you on what you can expect weather-wise coming up here in just a little bit. But in the meantime, it's Friday, and that means it's time for the Hometown Movie Guys. And they're here with us in the studio, and with bright shining faces all in their places and all of that kind of good stuff. How's Andy McKinney this morning?
Tip top.
Tip top. All right. And Tina?
It's easy, barely an inconvenience.
Barely an inconvenience. I like that. And it all makes sense to me. And Craig, how is it you have to deal with these people every week?
I know.
We all have our cross to bear. Yeah. Hey, one of the things that
mumbling and mumbling under his breath. I don't blame him.
One of the things that I found really encouraging today was when Craig walked into the studio. Big smile on his face, and it sounds like things are getting back to normal at the Sawmill Theater, and that's good news.
It is, yeah, we're seeing some signs of life, things coming back to, I mean, not normal, but definitely improving. We had our best weekend in many months.
Wow.
Yay.
So that was good. We're going to go ahead and, at least for spring break, we're going to open on Monday also.
Nice.
So, we've been going Thursday through Sunday, but we're going to go Thursday through Monday.
Right.
And hopefully we can stick with that then and kind of get us back to where we're at 7 days a week.
And when does spring break start?
Today.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
so this next week? Okay.
Yeah,
Right,
so,
next week.
so the next 2 Mondays for sure will be open.
Nice.
And then we'll kind of play it by, see how that goes and hopefully keep it going.
Very cool.
Couldn't you just look out the window and tell it was spring?
Yeah, really. It looks so spring-like out there. Actually, I need to talk to my grandkids. I'm
Can we
completely
sing
out of touch with
Springtime
schools.
for Hitler?
Springtime for
Hitler in Germany.
Let's see, this is where I turn off the microphones. At least get the notes right, will you? Anyhow,
I would if I could, but I can't, so I won't.
there you
Mel
go.
Brooks.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
So now, as far as movies, last week at the Sawmill Theater, you had 2 new movies. How have they been going so far?
Good. Well, Raya, the Last Dragon.
Right?
That's the first Disney film we've had in over a year.
And
Actually, it's been right at a year. That was March 17th of 2020 is when the theater shut down. That was.
And Disney really. I'm trying to think of one. I know we talked about this before, but I'm not really familiar with any bombs that Disney's had.
This one's supposed to be very good. It's
Yeah.
at a 75 on Metacritic.
Right. And they don't like anything.
Well, some things. But,
Something. But anyway, that's good. So,
Yeah, I saw it last week and I gave it the highest marks that I could.
is that 5 saw blades?
5 saw blades.
Wow! Wow!
Yeah, actually, I gave it 5 princess tiaras.
Oh, I didn't realize you'd made the switch.
Well, for this movie, the
Okay.
Disney princess movies get the special tiaras.
We're going to ask if he knows what gender he is.
Yeah. This is such a timely topic these
Yes,
days,
it
isn't
is.
it? Oh, we're going to dig ourselves into a big, major mud puddle here.
Sorry, I'm on a tear this
It's
morning.
it's all good. It's all good. So, what was the other movie that started last week?
The other one was Chaos Walking.
Right.
That was the sci-fi one that
Right.
we were trying to find something positive to say. At least the critics were not liking this one at all.
Right.
You know what? Everyone who's seen it really liked it.
Oh.
This has been kind of a surprise. It's doing okay. Everyone that goes in and sees it does like it.
Are there any big names in this?
Yeah, Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley.
And we know those from what movies?
Tom Holland was Spider-Man,
Oh.
We know them.
See, I only know him with the mask on.
Yeah.
and Daisy Ridley was Rey in the Star Wars series.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
right. We
she's
talked about
she's a
that.
big
last
star now.
week. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mads Mikkelsen is in it too.
Now, have you seen this one also?
I'm going to go see it today.
Today.
Yeah, I wanted to stay away from it because it was so odd. It was a very high concept science fiction movie, $100 million budget.
That's right. That's right.
It just seemed like too weird for me.
Mhm.
But one of my movie buddies went to see it this week and enjoyed it. Said that I ought to go see it, so I'm gonna.
It's people can see each other's thoughts, so their thoughts kind of are like a cloud kind of.
So this is a horror movie as far as I can
Yeah.
tell.
Could be.
You don't want to know what's going on up here.
So yeah, it does. You look at the trailer and it looks like a very strange movie, but it seems to be working and people are liking it.
Wow.
And
And
did you see Casino Royale, the James Bond movie?
that's been years ago.
No, just like a couple
Is that with Daniel-
just a few,
Daniel Craig?
Yeah, Daniel
Yeah,
Craig,
Daniel
just a
Craig,
few years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
No.
It was before Thursday, though.
Oh, okay. Well,
I believe I did, but I'm not absolutely certain. I'm trying to
Okay,
have
remember-
any scene from it come to mind.
Remember when he was playing cards with the guy, and the guy leaked blood from his eye?
Something about that does sound familiar.
That's Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
just to kind of.
It's all opaque to me now. Wow.
He usually plays a bad guy.
Yeah.
Mads.
I'm a little averse to that particular scenario in that I've had too many ties to the whole Ebola thing over in Africa. God, that was ugly. All right, so what do we have new starting today?
Yo, the father.
The Father.
Yeah, this is
Boy.
this is Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
And he always plays such fun, uplifting parts.
And Olivia Colman. So yeah, so some good actors, good actresses
Yeah.
in here. You said Anthony Hopkins does a great job on this one.
Huh.
It is it's about dementia.
Oh.
As you know, Anthony Hopkins is kind of deteriorating, but it looks like the story is told from his point of view.
Right?
So you know, he's kind of going through some of the the uncertainty and,
Right.
and starting to doubt himself and what's going on and it looks like a well done film
Mhm.
where they're kind of switching the characters,
Right.
like different characters are playing. They switch up and they play a different character in the movie to kind of show how he's losing track of what's going on. So
Right.
I guess a serious film.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, not one really to.
Wow.
One of those thinker films.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it is, I mean,
sure,
it's
sure.
a deep subject, 'cause
Yes,
I've
yes.
had to deal with that with some folks close to me, and I mean, it's a long series of goodbyes, it's really a tragic bunch of stuff, but it's something that I think we all probably ought to spend a little bit of time thinking about.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, we all. I suppose if you haven't dealt with it, you.
Yeah, if you live long enough, you will.
Yeah,
Interesting.
exactly. But again, like I said, this is Anthony Hopkins in a role that might get him an Academy Award.
Very interesting.
And there was a dementia movie made with Julie Christie. Do you remember that one?
What?
Years ago, where she is experiencing dementia and her husband is having a hard time, really dealing with it. And then she finally goes into a facility and she totally forgets who he is and she falls in love with somebody else in the facility.
Ooh.
And it's just, Julie Christie is amazing. She's always been amazing, but even in her older age, she is just riveting. And I'm gonna look up what that is, but movies about dementia that are made properly, they're almost impossible. I mean, for me to watch, it's so hard because my mom had dementia.
Right.
But at the same time, to really examine, the signs of it, the things that you see that, that look like somebody's really not playing to the full deck.
What did they do? Still Alice.
Ah,
That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
With,
yeah,
I forget her name.
Yeah.
I see her face. I forget her name, but.
I'm gonna,
But yeah, there have been a few films on this, and it is it's an important topic, and
yeah.
like you said, if you live long enough, it's probably gonna be something you have to deal with in some shape or form.
Perhaps even with a president.
But we digress.
I'm on today, I'm seriously on.
But in The Father, we have arguably the premier actor of his generation that's still with us, Anthony Hopkins,
Yes.
to do this.
Because he's been at this since the 60s.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll get to talk about that in a little bit. But he's
Yeah.
had an amazing career and just stellar role following stellar role following stellar role. Just
Yeah.
everything he has touched.
everything he's done,
It's been
and for a
great,
long
just
time.
really
He's also a
good.
composer.
But, one of the things that Craig and I were talking
Wait, there's
about.
more.
But
Yeah.
wait, there's more.
He's also a
great.
director.
Yeah, he's extraordinary.
By the way, there was Julianne Moore.
Oh, that's
Still-
right.
Still
That's
Alice.
right.
Yes,
Still Alice.
yes. And then there's Julie Christie in Away from Her.
Okay.
And, if you wanna explore the theme of dementia / Alzheimer's, which are not the same thing, by the way, in movies, these are some of the things, if you really wanna immerse yourself in some pretty heavy duty stuff, that's.
Who is it?
We'll never know.
Maybe they're bringing us a present.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
By the way, we need to say good morning to Melinda, Dave, Jenny, and Vanessa and Charla, who are all also watching us on Facebook Live this morning. So thanks for joining us there.
Yay.
And if you are, let us know if you have a favorite Anthony Hopkins movie. Let us know what that is and why. Because boy, he's played a lot of different roles. But one of the things that Craig and I were talking about prior to the show this morning was that when it comes to Anthony Hopkins, there has been, he's played a lot of different more supporting roles rather than leading roles in some movies over the years he certainly played, with Silence of the Lambs and things like that, played a lot of significant leading roles, but there's been a lot of other more supporting role type scenarios over the years too.
Yeah, I was looking at his, filmography and yeah, some of these movies, like Thor, he was in the Thor movie as Odin, which you don't even really, I had to think for a second on what role he
Right,
played in that.
right.
So there's a lot of those too.
Right.
But he was a good Odin.
As opposed to a bad Odin.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, he had the eye patch and stuff, and the relationship between Odin and Thor, as portrayed by Anthony Hopkins as the father, and Hemsworth as the son, as Thor, was, really very, very touching.
Interesting.
And it's only because of the power of Anthony Hopkins' acting ability. Otherwise, that would just be a throwaway role. It would just be, you could put anybody in there and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, and I'm a big C.S. Lewis fan. I mean, majorly big, as an English teacher and a Christian, and just
C.S. Lewis was astounding.
He was amazing, and Anthony Hopkins starred in a movie that is so must watch, but bring your Kleenex. Shadowlands, the true story of C.S. Lewis, who fell in love with a woman named Joy Davidson, who was an American. And he fell in love with her quite late in life.
Bad luck, American.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
But she got cancer, and he took care of her while he married her, and adopted her son, who is a wonderful guy and who has tried to work on keeping the legacy of C.S. Lewis, very vibrant. Shadowlands. I mean, oh my gosh, what a story! And a true story.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Shadowlands. I have to check that out.
Yeah.
You would think that would be some kind of time dimension switcheroo bad guy thing.
Shadowlands.
Yeah.
C.S. Lewis. Oh boy,
He's my.
we
he's
could go
my
on and on.
guy,
We could go
right?
on and on that one. Yeah. So now, so what else is playing at the Sawmill Theaters this week? Before we run out of time talking, we got to make sure we get
Yeah. Well, we still have Tom and Jerry.
right.
Another
Something
kids
good for the
one.
kids.
Yeah, a couple of good kids movies.
And the good thing about it is Tom is still trying to completely obliterate Jerry.
Jerry, yes.
Yeah. So in this day of political correctness and all this other nonsense going on, you can still trust Tom and Jerry to, be at each other.
Hopefully, yeah.
Bring on the
So far.
violence.
So far.
Yeah, so far. Yeah.
I kind of like it though. I mean, nothing like a good Tom and Jerry movie.
And also featuring,
Oh.
Chloe Grace Marie, or
Moretz.
Moretz. Right.
Yeah, something.
Right.
As long as she doesn't have Tourette's, yeah.
Right.
And where would we know her from?
well, you wouldn't.
I know.
I
Do you feel the love?
gave you a softball with James Bond.
Boy, he's supposed to learn how to say, I don't know.
Yeah, there we go. Good.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't have a clue.
But she played the young captive prostitute in Equalizer.
Yeah.
That
Denzel.
Denzel rescued from the Russian mob.
Yeah.
So you're right. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
I'll have to check that one out too.
No, but
You have
she's
to go on YouTube and look up pitch meeting, and the tagline. This is, Annie and I say this to each other all the time. I don't know. So you have to language it a certain way.
Gotta get the voice
You need
inflection in there.
You need that one.
I do.
I
I
don't know.
seriously do.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if there's something very difficult and odd in the plot of a movie,
Yeah.
then how can you do that?
Well, super easy, barely an inconvenience.
This is like deja vu all over again.
For instance,
Yeah.
we have a super easy occasion coming up here, thank goodness, and maybe Craig would like to speak to this too, with the Black Widow.
Yes.
Oh,
I
yes.
didn't realize she was super easy. Wow.
Oh, well, that's not nice. There's a
Never told anyone I was.
the Black Widow is one of the Avengers characters,
Okay.
and she was killed. She's deader than a stepped-on spider. But what's happening, Craig?
Well, we have a prequel movie coming out. Well, the reason this one's so important, it's coming out May 2nd.
Right.
And we've been kind of watching that because, with the way things are, the studios keep bumping films and moving them out. But this week they came out, the CEO of Disney, and he didn't say 100%, but he was about 98% sure that this thing was going to stick to May 2nd
Wow.
and come out, which if it would have gone, it would just start a whole cascade of events where they start dropping movies and the whole
Well, it sounds like
summer.
it's got to be encouraging for you in the theater business to see that things are getting back to
Yeah,
what
well, yes.
somewhat closer to whatever
Oh,
normal
no.
is.
Well, like you said, that if we would have lost Black Widow, I think that, the whole summer could have come unwound and they would have just pushed all sorts of film and
Right.
it would have just been another weak summer. But now I think we're going to hold on this stuff. Fast and Furious moved, but they only pulled it back from, it was supposed to come out May 28th. They moved it to June 20th, I think. So again, it stuck to the summertime.
Right. That's good.
So this stuff is all, it's all good news for the movies. And we got good stuff. We got, kind of a return of the big movie, Kong versus Godzilla.
All right.
That's,
And how many times has that been redone?
Yeah.
I mean, the first one came out, what, in the 60s?
60s, yeah. Well, there have been a lot of kind of cheesy versions done.
They were just
So,
monkeying
yeah,
around.
I love that.
You gotta glue some pubes on some guy's face and he's King Kong.
These are technical terminologies. Please don't use these terminologies and mix
So
them.
try that at home.
But Tina, isn't that difficult when you kill off the Black Widow and then she pops up again in a movie and she's alive again?
It's a prequel. She's not alive after
See,
death.
Star
She's
Wars really
alive
messed all
before
this
death.
up. When you got, this one came before that one, and that one came after this one.
Yeah.
Keeps you wondering.
Yeah,
He set you up there.
I know.
It just lets you know that even if you're an actor or an actress and they kill you off in this movie, you still can come back in another one. So it's
Well, they always do that. They can go back to,
Like their-
before she
their
died, there's
childhood,
an empty space in there. And,
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of Black Widow, this is just a little trivia thing.
okay.
There was a movie named Black Widow with Deborah Winger, and it was in 1987, and it was a thriller about a woman who marries rich guys and then they die mysteriously.
Oops.
And I'm telling you, that's if you're into Black Widow, see the one at the Sawmill, and then go seek out the one with Deborah Winger. And by the way, Deborah Winger also played in the Shadowlands movie with Anthony Hopkins. She played Joy Davidson.
Really?
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I'm a fountain of useless knowledge.
Wow. I'm just sitting here listening to all of it.
Yeah.
Interesting. I haven't seen Deborah Winger in anything in quite a while.
She's sort of hung around, but
Yeah.
man, she's great.
I agree.
She really is great. Yeah. So who's in Black Widow? The
Scarlett
Scarlett
Johansson.
Johansson.
yeah.
Once the most beautiful woman in the world.
Yeah,
I think twice.
I don't know.
Or maybe not. No.
No.
So,
No, I'm reading a biography of Ava Gardner right now, and apparently
That goes
at
back
her
a few
time
years.
she was the most beautiful woman. People just, traffic stopped, forks dropped. She was just crazy. I mean, crazy beautiful. Yeah. So. it
okay,
is-
so gotta ask, Craig, most beautiful actress ever in your opinion?
I've always been a Megan Fox fan.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
There you go.
Well, that's hard to argue with that one.
Yeah.
I just watched, within the last couple of weeks, I watched Jennifer's Body, and
Did she know that?
Did your wife know that?
yeah, she's watching it with me.
Well, progressive couple, aren't we?
Oh, they're so forward.
And she was absolutely just, your teeth would fall out.
Who was that, Megan
Wow.
Fox?
Megan Fox,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's
Yeah.
She just, just unbelievable, incandescent
Mhm.
You know,
And
But-
she's still not bad.
You know, I mean, we have to
No.
look back also.
she had plastic
Elizabeth
surgery that
Taylor,
was.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Back in the
I mean,
day, yeah.
seriously, yeah.
Sophia
And-
Loren.
And Sophia Loren, oh my gosh. And I just saw a special on her on, I think it was Netflix. Just a beautiful little movie.
And whatever
Oh, my
maintenance work
goodness.
has been done on her has been done quite well, by the way, over the years. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
she's in her late 80s.
I don't know how much formaldehyde it took to make that all happen, but I'd say they're doing a good job.
Yeah, but Ava Gardner, if you ever see anything with her in it, the camera just loved her.
Right.
And apparently, I mean, she lived a really rocky life. She drank like a fish. And I'm going, how did she drink like a fish and keep looking so good?
Mhm.
It was
But-
pickled.
Yeah, I
There you
guess,
go.
I know.
So,
Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, my goodness,
yeah.
Marilyn Monroe, yeah,
and Norma Jean.
yeah.
She had such a, I don't know, when you first look at her, it was like, okay, well, you know, she's obviously pretty, but
Right,
just her mannerisms, everything, it was just, she just had the, it.
yes,
Yeah,
it,
no, she
it.
really did,
Yeah.
and I agree.
Yeah.
I think that there are plenty of actresses that
Right.
I just would think were more beautiful, just on that, but very seldom do you find one even in the same ballpark as far as her attraction.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
that-
she's like a one of those space things.
The camera lenses definitely liked her a lot.
Sucks everything into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Hey, we're just about out of time. What else do we have planned
Okay,
in the
the
theaters
other
this week?
two big ones in Nomadland.
Right? How's that been?
Yes.
Still
See
doing
that.
good, yeah, Frances McDermott.
See that movie, see that movie.
Winner of the Golden Globe for
Yeah.
Best Drama,
Right.
Best Director, and Best Actress.
Yeah,
Okay.
And Frances McDermott is
yeah,
really something.
she's
And it's,
wonderful.
and it's really a cool movie too.
Yeah.
They almost the entire cast are actual vagabonds.
Yeah,
People that drive around in their RVs from place to place, and that's where
Yeah.
they live.
Wow.
it's really a wonderful. movie.
Vagabonds.
Yes,
Yeah.
nomads,
Yeah.
that's
I
what it's
think
called, nomad.
that'd be very interesting, especially the fact
Yeah.
that they took people that's really their lifestyle
Yeah,
and worked them into the movie. I think
and
that's
there's a
interesting.
bunch of it, it shot in Arizona, quartzite.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
See a lot of cactus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that place
And then what's
grows
the other
big
one?
time over the winter
But
months.
it's kind of neat how you see a saguaro cactus and it's
Yeah.
like Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah.
So, and you said there's one other one other than that?
The other one, Land,
Land.
Robin Wright.
Yeah,
Okay.
which you
Uh,
saw, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, another one where she goes through some tragedy in her life and she just escapes out in the middle of Wyoming to try to put it behind her.
Yeah.
Or trying to survive.
Yeah,
Well, both, yeah.
Yeah, what we know today as a PTSD.
Right.
She is very, very badly harmed
Mhm.
and goes off into the wilderness
And we all need to embrace the fact that they're pushing more and more towards, instead of calling it post-traumatic stress disorder, calling it a post-traumatic stress injury, PTSI. You
I
know,
didn't know that, I never heard that.
Yeah,
Well,
it's,
see, I listened to this show and I learned something.
it's one of the only topics I know anything about, sadly. At any rate,
Ebola.
well, that too, yeah, all the really wonderful uplifting stuff.
Is that a girl's name, Ebola?
I used to date her.
Oh, so many one-liners, so little
Okay,
time, I'm not gonna
I'll
go
stop
there.
now. I
Anyway,
gotta stop.
we have to get you back on the radio, back to more of your favorite music here, because we have some tunes coming up from Warren Zevon, Modern English, The Clash, Chicago, and a whole bunch more. And then on Facebook Live, we're going to continue talking for a little bit about Anthony Hopkins, isn't it?
Sure, and other stuff.
And other
Did you say Warren Zevon?
stuff. I did.
Yeah.
I like Warren Zevon. I'm so
I
sad
like
that he's
him.
croaked.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't, go this extra half hour. Maybe you should just step out in the lobby and listen to the music.
Don't be silly.
Okay. Anyway, we're going to get you back to more of your favorite music, but first, a
He
quick
wants
look
his
at
half
Rim
hour
Country
for
West.
30
Go
minutes
away.
of fame.
Now I don't have to share the spotlight with these two.
That's right, I'm going.
All right.
Oh.
So we're clear of the airways, but we're still with you on Facebook.
Woo-hoo.
And what's your favorite Anthony Hopkins flick? We were talking again before going on the air this morning.
Hi, Nicole.
He's been
Hi,
in
Nicole.
so many different movies. It's ridiculous.
Shadowlands, I got Shadowlands.
Good morning to Beatrice, Margaret, Doug, Brenda, Melinda,
Hi, Doug.
Christy, and Nicole.
Nicole, we
From Black
love
and Tan.
you.
So, and I don't know, Silence of the Lambs, I think I've seen that like 3 or 4 times now. And
Yeah.
it's, That is one of the most disturbing movies that
Yeah.
every time I see it come on TV, I'll still sit and watch it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not comfortable watching that.
No, that's,
Well, except there was a guy who played Hannibal Lecter in Michael Mann's movie Manhunter, who I think was better than Anthony Hopkins.
Really?
Yes.
He out-creeped Anthony
You remember-
Hopkins?
Yeah, he did.
Yikes.
You gotta see Manhunter. I've seen that about 20 times. It's a Michael Mann with William Peterson. It's one of the scariest movies I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, love you.
We have to say goodbye.
Aloha.
Have a wonderful trip to the place you're going to.
Yeah, right.
and how's everyone in Hawaii? Are your friends in Hawaii okay?
And they're in lockdown and they're
I mean,
drowning.
with the floods, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
No fun. Well, anyway, so Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, so Hannibal Lecter was, obviously his kind of defining role.
Right.
That's
Played it
whether
3
you-
times.
I was gonna say, yeah, three, 4
They've done
movies.
3 versions of that, or 3 iterations?
Iterations of it, and it's a continuing story. It's not the same movie 3 times. It's three different
Right.
movies.
It's so far just a 3-course meal.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, what did he do? Oh, Hannibal,
Right.
and that was in 2001. That was him playing Hannibal Lecter, and then he played Red Dragon the next year, 2002, and again played Hannibal Lecter. And they're all of a part of he's a diabolical murderer, cannibal, but of such a powerful intellect that he just can't be stopped. He just outsmarts everybody that tries to get him, and
That bites.
yeah, and
Literally.
then insults them by eating their brains in front of them. There's
Great fun at parties.
Yeah, there's nothing says I gotcha like having you strapped up and saw off the top of your head and starts eating a guy's brain. Yeah.
Did that win Best Picture? Silence of the Lambs?
I don't know. He got he's won Academy Award for that.
For that one?
I'm not sure if it got Best Picture or not. But Jodie Foster was
Oh.
brilliant. Boy.
And she's played an interesting variety of roles from as a child on up. She's done a lot of pretty interesting work.
Yeah, and still doing it.
Mhm.
She's and I'm happy whenever I get a chance to see her work.
Mhm.
What was that space one that she did?
Oh, that one was awesome. With the alien, where the aliens came down and they were communicated. They
Yeah.
had different.
Contact?
Lord.
Mm,
Oh wait, no. Well, that was. Oh no, that was different. Yes, Contact.
Contact.
That was
but
one with
they had
the-
the big dishes and the
Yes. Okay, I was actually.
aliens were leaking in through the airwaves.
Yeah, I was going through a different one there.
Yeah.
What was that? Okay.
But
We're getting off on a
she's
tangent
famous,
here.
of course, for Taxi Driver.
Right?
She was just a little girl then.
A
New York
long
City.
time ago.
Yeah, New York City's a rough place.
Yeah.
But Anthony Hopkins,
Yeah, Contact was a.
his first, and I was surprised when I was researching for the show today. Anthony Hopkins has just an absolute ton of TV stuff, just oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles of TV stuff.
That's
And then
3 oodles.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's about as many as you can get.
Yes.
I think. And then every year or two, he'll do some tremendously wonderful feature-length film, and as I think you said, not always in the leading role.
Right.
The first one that really, I think, brought him to the public's attention, his first major full-length motion picture, was one that we talk about here sometimes, A Lion in Winter.
Hmm.
Peter O'Toole is
Peter O'Toole. This goes back a ways.
1968. Anthony Hopkins at that time was 31. Peter O'Toole plays Henry II. His wife, Eleanor Aquitaine, is played by Katharine Hepburn.
Wow, some big names.
Yeah, and it's it's based on a play, a stage play, but it's a lot of historical accuracy. Henry II had Eleanor of Aquitaine in prison. And this in the movie, it's Christmas time, and he lets her out so the family can get together for Christmas. And his son John and Richard are in revolt, and they're being egged on by Eleanor of Aquitaine to depose their father and have one of them end up being king. And of course, that's why Henry didn't want her running around loose while she was in the can.
Kind of understandable.
Yep. And Anthony Hopkins played Richard the
Well,
Lionheart.
I'm just amazed.
Can you imagine?
Richard the Lionheart?
Richard the Lionheart. That's Henry II's son.
Right.
And John with the Robin Hood and all that. King John is one of the other sons. But that's the first time he came up. Peter O'Toole and Catherine Hepburn both got Academy Awards for that.
I didn't realize he was in his 30s back in the 60s. I mean, that puts him, what, in his late 80s now?
84.
84.
Yeah. He's born in 37.
Wow.
So, but he's had an amazing career. And he's done all kinds of stuff. Mutiny on the Bounty, one of them. We talk about that every week, don't we? Because Tina likes Mel Gibson. But that's the 1984 version of Mutiny on the Bounty with Mel Gibson, of course, as what's his name?
Good old what's his name?
Yeah. And Captain Bligh was played by Anthony Hopkins. Okay, that was 84, so he wasn't an old guy then. He was I think a mature guy.
50-something maybe.
Yeah, but not an old guy. What a deal! What a great deal for that. But in '77, A Bridge Too Far. I bet you've seen that one.
I have. That's it's been a while, but man, those are some big movies.
Yeah, these are. Yeah, I mean, he makes 30 episodes of Masterpiece Theater or something like that, and then he'll go out and play a British officer in A Bridge Too Far and just nail it. So
It takes a certain kind of talent and innate talent to be able to pull that off for sure.
And another one that we talk about almost every week, because Brad Pitt's in it.
Legends of the Fall.
Legends of the Fall.
Yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins was in that.
Yeah, he played
He
the
was the
father.
dad.
Yeah, the
Right.
father.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, the father.
The father. And I mean, a very powerful, dramatic movie, Legends of the Fall. It's about the family, the generational conflicts between the three sons and the patriarch up in Montana.
It's a freaking tragedy. Oh, that movie was just depressing.
Yeah,
I mean, really
and
just
and wonderfully well done.
Oh, it was a great film. But yeah, just the all three brothers just dying terribly, and that final scene with Brad Pitt where he because it kind of started out where he went up, he was poking a grizzly bear and
Oh no!
and cut the bear's the bear attacked him, of course, and he cut one of his fingers off. And that was like how he kind of started his life. This was when he was just like a young man, and it ended. He's out there still in the forest walking around. This bear attacks him, and he's out there stabbing it, and the bear just does a bear thing on him. Does what bears do.
Yep. Poops in the woods, right?
Poops out Brad Pitt.
Poop Pitt. We're going nowhere with that quick. So but that is interesting. I mean, I hadn't really thought about Anthony Hopkins and all the different parts that he's played, but he's been in some really big movies.
Very important movies and very dramatic movies. A lot of these, as Greg says, are thinkers. Not all of them, though. He also played in 2004 Alexander, a story about Alexander the Great,
Right.
which there've been some versions of this before.
think I've done it right yet. I don't know.
Yeah, not
No,
perfectly.
wasn't that Colin Farrell?
Yeah, Colin
Who
Farrell
played
was in it.
Alexander, that
And-
weird thing that
Yeah,
no one really liked.
they made Alexander into kind of they dressed him up in bright colors and gave him makeup and had him hanging around with Persian boys. And no, that's not the image most of us have of Alexander. You know, call him Alexander the Maniac. Alexander the Bloodthirsty. He prefers Alexander the Great, but he was one of the great killers.
He brought the world together. Right?
Yeah, whether they wanted to or not.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Usually it's tough to get everyone on board.
Right.
But
Interesting.
again, as Anthony Hopkins does so often, he played kind of the wise elder statesman. He played Ptolemy. He was the satrap that eventually became the king of Egypt, and from whom Cleopatra is descended.
Oh, wow.
And Cleopatra, of course, would hang around with not just Julius Caesar, but also with Mark Antony. And in the movie, Cleopatra, she played opposite her, I think, then husband, Richard Burton. Richard Burton, who, of course, had played an earlier and also quite worthy, if not quite perfect, version of Alexander. There's a great scene in the Richard Burton the version of Alexander where he cuts the Gordian knot, and there's if you imagine an ox cart, and the beam goes out from the ox cart to the cross piece where you hook up the oxen.
Right.
And there's this knot as big as a basketball, just incredibly complex knot that secures them together. And the legend is that the man that can unravel the Gordian knot is destined to rule all of Asia. Well, Alexander takes a look at that and he says, look, I'm going to spend the next 6 months trying to untie this thing. I don't think so. Pulls out his sword, chops it in half. Boop, boop. The knot dissolves, the beam falls off of the cross piece, and everything's fine, and he gets to rule Asia. Good for him. And Richard Burton does that with such authority and such
It's a naughty
vigor.
way to start your rule.
Yeah.
But interesting. I didn't know that.
It's and Richard Burton pulled that off. I mean, there are some roles that are so gigantic that it's really tough for an actor to fill them. And I point out in that respect Chris Hemsworth. I mean, how many people do you know that could authentically portray the God of Thunder and pull it off?
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to Thor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd say he actually seemed to kind of personify that image that I think you'd have in your mind's eye of what that would look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those things always get tough, then, because Chris Hemsworth is not getting younger,
Right.
So at some point we're going to have to. That's always a problem with that. You have these guys that take on a role and they do it so well, and then they get old. We've got well, the big one right now, I think one of the big ones with superhero movies is Hugh Jackman.
Right.
Wolverine.
Oh yeah, they had to kill off Wolverine.
Yeah, he's he played a great Wolverine, but what is he? 50 or something now? He's
he's not 20 anymore.
Yeah, he's creeping up there.
Don't be talking about 50 like it's old now.
Yeah, well, you got to look at replacing him, and that's where we get into these reboots and everything.
Well, and the most recent one of him, golly, where he's, it's not Wolverine though, it's called something else, where he still has the blades that come out of his hands and all that, and then the young girl who.
Oh, Logan.
Logan, yeah.
Logan, yeah.
I mean, in that one, he's looking pretty old, and that, of course, I don't think he was supposed to, but.
Right.
And then they killed him.
Yeah.
So there you are. He's done.
That's okay, it's time for a prequel.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Yeah, well,
Barely an inconvenience.
That's right.
That's what you get. Like at Silence of the Lambs, would you replace Anthony Hopkins?
Yeah, that'd be.
You know,
Yeah.
You
and
could
I'm-
replace the fava beans in a nice Chianti, but you can't replace
And,
it.
and you know that Hollywood's kicked around a reboot of Silence of the Lambs. You know, they at least thought about it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one. Yeah, that would be really difficult to. I mean, not just Anthony Hopkins, but Jodie Foster too, to get both those roles and redo that.
That brings me to one of my biggest concerns of late, and that is that, I mean, there's an awful lot of, hey, let's redo that story, but do it better. And I mean, I get that, and there's some stories that need to be retold, and there's some stories that could definitely be retold better than perhaps they were to begin with. But man, it seems like we're running low on people coming up with original ideas.
Sure.
Well, what about Chaos Walking?
Well, there
Pretty
you go.
darn original, if you ask me.
Well, and the one, the Nomad deal too. I mean, that kind of
Yes, that was
that's
some-
unique and new.
Well, and so much of it now is just book adaptations.
Yeah.
We don't have. That's one thing we don't really have a lack of. Books keep popping up, and they just snatch that stuff up and turn them into movies. But yeah, actually, original film is not like it used to be.
Yeah. Well, think of the original Dracula movie,
Right?
and how many Dracula movies of one sort or another have popped up.
Right?
Including, I might just mention here, Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Right?
featuring
The best.
Anthony Hopkins. What do you know?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, he plays
Van Helsing.
Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Right?
And when was that?
Dracula sucks.
That was
94.
92.
92.
Yeah, so he wasn't too old then.
That was Gary Oldman as Dracula and Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I still say, and we talked about this before, but I still say the real Vlad Tempest or Dracula, the true story, is far creepier. And well, I mean, it's, I don't know, far creepier, but it's plenty creepy compared to somebody that sleeps in a coffin all day and pops out and sucks your blood at night. I mean, that's
Dracula was a love story.
what, a love for blood.
No. He's searching for his true love. That's how he became Dracula, was when his bride jumped off the cliff and.
To get away from him?
No. Oh, so that's how he became Dracula. Then he cursed God because she died.
She died?
Yeah. And then he became Dracula, and then 200 years later he finds, basically her reincarnated, and that's kind of how that went. That's why she had an attraction for Dracula too. There was something there, and yeah, it's a love story.
Well, the true story of Vlad the Impaler, definitely not a love story, unless you love to impale things.
I can't think of the name of it, but within this century, I've seen an adaptation of Vlad's life where it was true stuff, and sadly, and I hate to tell you this, but it was just a stinker of a movie. It was not good, and I think I agree with you that if we could have the actors and the writers and producers and directors that did Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was a fabulous movie, put them together and have them do a true version of the guy's actual life, which is, I agree, is absolutely fascinating. And complicated. Boy, I mean, he lived in a tough neighborhood.
Well, and when I don't want to keep on working on this, but talking before about the project that I had in Romania where I spent some time there, it just happened to be that it was during the winter and there was stormy weather and a lot of low-hanging clouds and kind of misty conditions, and then you have these really old cathedrals and castles and things like. I mean, it was the whole countryside was really a pretty spooky looking place, especially if you go into it thinking about either Dracula or Vlad the Impaler or whatever. I mean, it was a strange place. So I'd love to see something done because it's really a fascinating country, and it'd be a great place to shoot something like that.
That impaling thing is.
Yeah, it's really, and then, Vlad,
Yeah, that was
he
not
eventually
nice.
got,
Oh, no,
he eventually
no,
got
no.
put in prison after impaling a lot of people. And while in prison, sat there and impaled cockroaches and stuff in his cell. I mean, talk about being obsessed. Something wasn't quite right upstairs.
No, he had a rough childhood,
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. The Muslims really messed him up big time.
Yep.
Well, anyway, so enough about Vlad. We talk about him every week.
Yeah.
So now, as far as because we're just about out of time here, as far as
You know who else served with Anthony Hopkins in A Lion in Winter? Timothy Dalton.
wow, from golly, what was the?
Well, he was a James Bond guy for a while.
But didn't
He did The Living Daylights, I think.
Didn't he also do the one? Tommy, wasn't he in that? The rock and roll.
Oh, the Who?
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
wow. I don't know.
I think Dalton
Oh
was
my
in that
God.
one, if I remember correctly. I don't
Well,
recall.
that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I have to look that up. Well, film at 11.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, Timothy Dalton was enough of a man of action that he made at least The Living Daylights, maybe a different James Bond movie, and quite capable James Bond, not at the top of the heap, but not bad at all. But he played King Philip of France, who was at least in the movie was rather foppish, and so it shows how actors can. If you're a good actor, you can do whatever the director needs for you to do to make the movie work right.
Makes sense.
Kind of going back to that, Timothy Dalton was in Penny Dreadful. It was
Ooh.
2 or 3 seasons on HBO or something. If you haven't seen Penny Dreadful,
Wonderful.
and that's
Who-
kind of that's
who
a
was
different. He was just kind of the actually kind of the main character. He was just a hunter that used to go explore Africa, and he just got tied in the whole thing. But there's actually Dracula's in it, werewolf, and Frankenstein. Oh, there's a Frankenstein monster that's just a completely different, a completely different take on all this.
Very mild-mannered Frankenstein.
Oh yeah. Oh, it spoke very well. A very very intelligent Frankenstein, but he still looked like a monster. So there was that. They played on that dynamic where he was tortured really, and good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Wolfman.
License to Kill and The Living Daylights.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, did both of those. He's
Just
been
little known
he's
facts.
another one that's been in just Cleopatra,
He was in that?
apparently. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he was the guy in the corner holding the candelabra or something, probably.
Yeah.
Wait, which one were we looking for? I forgot we were looking at this stuff.
I was thinking about Tommy.
Tommy, there we go. Okay.
I don't think so.
For some reason, I was thinking that was Timothy Dalton, but I could be wrong. I have been before. I burnt the toast once back in '68. If you believe any of that, then I got some swampland in Idaho for you. But
Don't see it on here.
all right. Well, anyway. Well, so now as far as we have new movies coming next week?
You know what? We do not. Yeah, nothing next week.
Taking a pause.
Yeah, we are going to. I do have a faith-based film on Saturday.
Oh, good.
Kind of a little bit of a different type here thing here. We're going to do Exodus, evidence,
far
evidence for physical evidence for Exodus. So it's kind of a little bit of a documentary thing that they're looking at, and they're going
Wow.
back and checking all this out, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be pretty interesting.
So are they finding a whole bunch of old remnants of chariots and stuff at the
Well,
bottom
you know,
of the?
I watched the
Red Sea?
trailer. Well, I watched the trailer, and it seems like the gist of it was that they think that the timing in the Bible might be a little bit off. That if you go and you look at when they're talking the Bible, if you match that up, that there's not a lot of evidence. But if you shift it a little bit,
And not too much.
yeah, now you're starting to see some physical evidence that there was, there was this Exodus. So yeah, a little bit of a.
Is that Saturday, tomorrow?
No, next Saturday.
A week from
Yeah,
tomorrow.
next Saturday. Yeah, next Saturday. like I said, nothing next week, next Friday. Then the following, the 26th, is Nobody. It's the guy that produced John Wick.
Right.
So it's gonna be another beat 'em up and lots of killing and fun stuff there. And
Isn't that the guy from Better Call Sal?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks you know what? I'm up for it. That sounds great right now. Watch a movie, just this guy just beating the crap out of people.
Yeah,
That sounds
set up
good.
that this guy's a retired mafioso,
Right.
and apparently they've given him some kind of augmentation to make him a better hitman.
Might just be Hollywood augmentation, but yeah, he looks like he's really taking a beating, and he just keeps going.
Well, I'm looking forward to your faith-based
Can't
movie
be
next
stopped.
Saturday, because I love a good documentary. I like.
Yeah, well, you know what, I've been kind of wanting to thinking about doing a documentary series. You
Oh,
know,
good
on
idea.
maybe like the second Saturday of the month, and just some stuff out here, a little bit of like I said, more of a documentary style.
And there are some amazing documentaries available out there that I think would
you
be
know,
wonderful to
there's
see
just-
on the big screen.
Just all sorts of you can go so many ways with that. So
Right.
So anyway, that's the thought though. But I'm going to kind of combine the two, the face-based film and the documentary next week, and get that one going.
Cool.
And then actually, Nobody on the 26th. 5 days later on Wednesday is Kong versus Godzilla.
Got it. Now, you can always go online and find out what's playing and when it's playing by just logging on to sawmilltheaters.com. And we hope to have you back here again with us next Friday. We got to run because Pam's got to get in here and get ready for her show at 11 o'clock. So thanks for joining us, and we appreciate you coming along.